I don't know what it last couple of years. Like, see you guys everywhere. Like, no bullshit.
We tend to lift up whoever gives this guy shit. And you guys have done a very good job of giving this
Well,
guy
lately,
shit,
yeah, God bless. After LA and raids and then nationalizing or federalizing the Guard. But it was what they did during the fires. Just a full-on assault on reason, truth, trust. We were on our back legs and we had to pivot. I remember like 2 days in going, we have to do something radical.
It was noticeable. If the shoe was on the other foot, a Democratic president conditioning aid to Republican states, the view from afar, even from like outside the country of what's happening in LA, it looks like martial law.
In many respects, it is. It just depends which lens you see the world. I mean, people talk about we crossed that threshold, that red line on authoritarianism. For you and me, no. For the Latino community in LA, full on. People quite literally aren't going to the graduations. Right. They're not getting groceries. They're having other people drive them, so they're not racially profiled in their cars. And it's happening at a ferocity and scale that's shock and awe, and it just gets lost sometimes because there's a new tariff policy or there's just another true social, and so critical we just keep our eye on the ball. And these are masked people, unmarked cars with no identification, grabbing people from their cars, in some cases smashing the windows, grabbing them and they're screaming, ripping them away from their kids or their kids.
How is this legal?
And throwing it.
That's what I don't understand. Mayor Bass just filed a lawsuit. Yeah. You have a lawsuit against him. But like, how effective is that?
We're going to test the boundaries of that. The good news is we've had more success than failure, particularly the lower courts. It's then when we get in the appellate, things get delayed and it gets slowed down, and everything that's coming at them, we're smash mouth right back. On social media, if you want to come out, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, talk about crime in California. We'll talk about your murder rate being 2x. Got a war room mentality, but we also are fortified with tens of millions of dollars. The legislature is ready to finance and fund, and the largest state in the union, the largest economy, fourth largest in the world. We're going to have the backs of our diverse communities.
I mean, we're one of the most dependent states in the country. Yeah. They go around here bragging about how fiscally responsible we are, but they never mention that we get 40% of our state budget from the federal government. There was a little bit of talk on your feeds of at what point does California stop paying for its own oppression? I
kind of threatened that a few weeks ago and got the ire of the right, which is ironic. Let me give you a numeric. Texas took in 2023 71.1, so taker state by 71. Yeah. That same year, California donor state with $83 billion. And these guys, again, to your point, are sitting here waxing on about how economically sound they are, fiscally concerned.
You should hear them. It's
complete
crazy.
BS. And
every day.
71% of this country's GDP, communities like this, blue
cities, that's right,
metros, infant mortality, maternal mortality, issues around life expectancies, death of despair, gun death rates, on every critical issue, insured versus uninsured, wages. It's the red states that significantly underperform the blue states. We have got to flood the zone with these facts and not allow their alternative facts to persist as they do on Fox and One American News and Newsmax. They're winning the narrative war. They have 9 out of the top 10 cable shows. They're all right-wing Fox shows. The podcasts are getting crushed as well. Flood the zone, and we've got to meet people where they are.
So just to drill down on that, though, is there a point where that talk would turn into some real legislative stuff?
So here's the challenge. The vast majority of those contributions from blue states to the federal government come from individual taxpayers. So they would have to withhold those dollars. A relatively small amount are processed through the state. So we're looking at those accounts that are processed through the state and looking at legal vulnerabilities because we want to be sober in a Trump regime that's ready, fire, aim, trying to take down every grant that we have and try to take down every appropriation that's been congressionally approved. So we're being thoughtful about it, but full on commitment to determining if there's a pathway to do that. Deng has these threats on every critical issue. He's doing on sanctuary policy, I'm going to pull back your money. He's doing on LGBTQ issues, pull back your money. He's doing on DEI issues related to the Jewish community and issues related to Gaza and the Middle East and institutions of higher learning. Pulling those dollars, the courts take a long time to adjudicate. And so if he's going to do that, why the hell not? Blue states look at that transfer of payment, trying to play, unfortunately, the perverse game that he's playing. We cannot unilaterally disarm.
We have seen some movement, I think, especially even on this immigration issue. People like Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz have started to rethink what happened here. What's your attitude to people like that who obviously played a role and helping this guy get into power, suddenly having a change of heart.
Someone does the right thing eventually. I remember I was talking about gay marriage here
Yeah.
a moment ago in 2004. I felt like I was on my own island. It took like a decade for a lot of Democrats to be there. Instead of criticizing where were you for the last decade, I applauded the fact that they're there. Good for Joe Rogan for stating the obvious, that you're ripping someone, from their mother. We have someone who's a rising senior, who's a soccer star, taken with her mom and deported. She's beloved about her school and her community. She was just sent to Guatemala to call out going after day laborers that are doing construction, to call out the folks that are out there in the farms that have nothing to do with their alleged criminal efforts. And on that, most of us are aligned. I certainly am. I cooperate. And I got receipts for that, over 11,000 people since I've been governor. I don't think a governor can lay claim to that. But they're not doing that when they're destroying the fabric of our communities, destroying the economy. Think about California that's got to rebuild over 18,000 structures in the most devastating wildfire in American history, at least modern American.
Who's gonna
in terms
do
of new
it?
America.
Right.
Yeah, 41% of California's workforce.
Right.
Texas and California, the highest percentage of immigrants and undocumented immigrants in their workforce in construction. Over 50% in California of people working in the farms and fields. And even Trump acknowledged that after he raided the farms in Ventura County 2 days later, because the folks who wrote him a big check said, you got to stop. He said, well, we can't touch him. Meanwhile, he's back out there.
Right, because Stephen Miller always wins that
So
fight.
Stephen Miller always wins the fight. And now Stephen Miller has one of the largest private armies
Yeah,
in the world. This is serious.
I agree.
Tens of billions of dollars this guy.
Yep.
No accountability. Don't have to show ID. Don't have to show your faces. Don't even have to have a marked car. No due process. People can just simply disappear.
The masks part, there's a bill by Jack Johnson and Speaker Sexton to punish elected officials who name ICE agents. Marsha Blackburn has a bill at the federal level, 5 years in prison if you name an ICE agent. On the flip side, Justin Jones has a bill to ban masks and require identification. Is that something you guys could do?
Well, we've got a bill pending the legislature. It was introduced months ago on masking.
The masks part is just outrageous.
It's insane. Now, look, I'm sensitive as a former mayor, as an executive, this notion of safety. In certain circumstances, when you have a warrant, you present an ID, there's issues around safety of officers and where it may be appropriate. But now it's universal masking. Poor National Guard were out there in MacArthur Park. They were heroes a few weeks ago, 2,500 to be exact, that were part of the wildfire recovery. They were being celebrated. People were doing selfies because they were so grateful. These same men and women masked up. They're being humiliated and used as pawns for theater. So we have a bill. We're looking at the constitutionality of it, and it appears that we don't have the legal authority for federal agents, but we do for other law enforcement authorities. There's some amendments being made in the bill, and our legal team's looking at it.
I think the alarmists have yet to be wrong. What's the message in terms of just where we stand as a democracy in this moment?
Well, I saw what Governor Abbott did today,
Yeah.
announcing a special session that will include redistricting.
Seizing power even after
These guys
flood.
aren't, they're not fucking around, man. They're playing by a totally different set of rules. And here I am in California trying to raise the bar of sort of bipartisanship. Years and years ago, we did independent redistricting in a state that I assure you, with 2/3 majorities in the legislature, could gerrymander like no other state. And we've been playing fair. But I saw what he just did today. Made me question that entire program. I mean, these guys are going to do everything in their power to maintain their power. So your question was a specific question. If we don't take back the House of Representatives, I don't want to be alarmist. I don't want to say game over. That will be one of the most profound moments, I think, in modern history of this country. Greek democracy and the Roman Republic, this notion of co-equal branches of government, popular sovereignty, the rule of law versus the rule of Don. If we're not able to hold that line by taking back Congress, I think that is the red line. It's already, that red line has been crossed for our diverse communities, particularly immigrants, even legal immigrants like Elon Musk that they're threatening. They're serious about that. These guys have no shame and no limits unless we, the people, step up. And next year is a date with destiny, man.
Governor, thank you for doing this. Do you think there's an Epstein list?
I mean, now I'm going to start sounding conspiratorial. After Elon tweeted that out and all of a sudden now it disappears. Really, Trump? Show us. What do you got? Where's the transparency? What carnies? What flim-flammers? What music men? What bullshit artists these guys are?
Not even good ones either.
Not even good ones.
Can I get you to do one thing before you leave? Can you tell them to follow the holler?
Follow
Follow the holler.
Oh my God. I'm Governor Gavin Newsom and follow the holler.
Perfect. Thank you for this.
Not easy to say. Do that 3 times fast.